If there is one sign in the zodiac that stands out as the most unique, it's Pisces. Pisces is the final sign, the end of all cycles, and the one that inherits the most refined essence of all 11 signs before it. It is the place where the soul no longer resists, but begins to release. So when Pisces is hurt, they don't scream, they don't demand. They don't send long emotional texts like Cancer, nor do they pull away with cold detachment like Aquarius. They stay silent, but leave behind a pain that cuts deep into the soul. Their disappearance isn't loud. There's no warning. It happens little by little, like the tide pulling away from shore. One day they stop sharing their stories. Their eyes no longer quietly follow you. They no longer ask, "Are you doing okay today?" They no longer remember the tiny things you once said in passing. You don't know exactly when you lost them. You just realize no one looks at you the way they used to anymore. And if you're still wondering, why did it happen? How could someone who once loved you deeply enough to know the rhythm of your breath withdraw as if they never existed? It's because Pisces doesn't leave like ordinary people. They dissolve. They fold into themselves, like the sea receding after the storm. When Neptune, the planet of intuition and dreams, cuts the cord, there's no sound. Only a gradual silence, as if you've lost signal with the deepest part of yourself. And then something else begins to reveal itself. You didn't just lose someone who loved you. You lost the one person who tried to heal the broken part of you never had the courage to face. In this article, we'll explore the 9 reasons why hurting a Pisces is something you should never do, not because they're weak, but because you may never comprehend the true cost of losing the purest love you'll ever have. Reason number 1, you can lie with words, but you can't hide your energy from a Pisces. You think you're hiding it. You still text, "I'm fine." You still send heart emojis. You still kiss goodbye, like nothing's wrong. But Pisces has already seen it long ago. They don't wait for your confession. They don't need evidence. They simply listen to the silence between your sentences, and they know. No one taught them how. They were born with an internal early warning system, hardwired to sense the things no one dares to say. They hear on a different frequency, a place most people don't even know exists. And once they pick up the signal that you're no longer sincere, they don't say anything. They simply start pulling their energy back, like the tide retreating from the shore. I once watched a Pisces walk out of a 5-year relationship, and the other person had no idea it was happening. She was still there, still having dinner together, but she no longer asked, "How was your day?" She no longer shared what she was thinking. She no longer opened up. She had already stepped back on the inside, already packed her bags in her mind, already said goodbye with her intuition. And by the time the other person realized it, it was too late. She wasn't hurt anymore, just cold and distant. Pisces doesn't cause drama. They don't expose you. They just let you keep living in a world without them and leave you to realize how empty it feels. Reason number 2, they love like healers and hurt like no one can save them. You don't know what saved you. You only know that ever since they showed up. Everything felt lighter. Everything became a little easier to breathe. They didn't do anything grand. They just listened to you without interrupting. They just sat beside you when you didn't want to talk. They just sent the right message when you were about to break. That's Pisces. They don't try to change your life. They quietly mend the cracks you've gotten used to living with. They don't love to receive. They love like healers. They can feel the wounds in others, and their instinct is to soothe them, even if it tears themselves apart in the process. A man once shared that he didn't realize what he had lost until he realized no one was there to hold up the parts of him that used to be gently supported. That Pisces girl endured every volatile version of him. He lashed out. She stayed silent. He disappeared. She waited. He forgot her birthday. She still made dinner like nothing happened. Until one day she vanished. No accusations, no goodbye. And that was when he started to fall apart. Not because he was left behind, but because there was no one left to save him from himself. Hurting a Pisces is not like hurting anyone else. You don't just break their heart. You remove the one person who ever truly believed you deserved to be loved, even when you weren't at your best. Reason number 3, they disappear without a trace, not to punish you, but to survive. Don't believe it? Try betraying a Pisces. They won't break things. They won't scream in your face. They won't beg for an apology. They'll just disappear, little by little. Every action, every glance, every space of energy that used to be wholly devoted to you, now empty. They'll still say good morning, still reply to your texts, but their soul has quietly withdrawn long before you even realized you were losing them. Pisces doesn't leave to make you hurt. They leave because they've been hurting for too long, and you didn't see it. And now, they have no choice but to save themselves. Someone once shared that he only realized his Pisces girlfriend had left when he saw her shoes were still in the closet, but every other part of her was gone. She didn't argue. She didn't declare a breakup. One day he messaged, "Where are you?" and never saw the word seen again. She no longer belonged to the world where he existed, and the strangest thing was, he couldn't find a single door to follow her through. You might think Pisces is weak, but you've forgotten something. The softer a person is, the harder it is to grasp them once they're gone. You don't know when you lost them. You just know they're already gone, and the worst part is, they don't leave a map behind, no breadcrumb trail to follow back. Because they didn't leave to test you. They left because their soul couldn't take it anymore. That's reason number 3. Don't wait until they go silent to chase the sound that once kept you alive. Because when a Pisces chooses to disappear, you'll never know the way back to them. Reason number 4. They loved you in a way you'd never been loved before, but you took it for granted. Not everyone has known what it feels like to be loved the way a Pisces loves. And maybe that's why, when someone is loved that way, they don't know how to keep it. They think, oh, maybe everyone checks in to ask if I've eaten. They think it's probably normal for someone to sense my pain and without me saying a word. They think she is just overly sensitive. But what they don't understand is this. Pisces isn't sensitive. They are the second skin you wear every day. They don't just love you. They live alongside everything you've been hiding from the rest of the world. A man once spoke about his ex, a Pisces. She never demanded anything. Always said, it's up to you. But every time he was stressed from work, she made ginger tea, scheduled doctor appointments, and quietly created space for him to rest. The day he left her, he thought he needed someone who understood him more. 2 years later, he still hadn't found that feeling of being truly heard without needing to speak. Because the things Pisces do for you, you only notice them when no one else does them anymore. People often mistake things like gentleness will always be there. Someone who cares will always keep chasing me. Someone who understands me should put up with me. But that's the mistake. Because when a Pisces leaves, you don't just lose someone who loves you. You lose the way you were loved. And that's something you may never experience again in this lifetime. That's reason number 4. You assumed their love was guaranteed, but in truth, it was the one kind of love that never repeats. And you let it slip away without ever bending down to pick it back up. Reason number 5. They accepted you unconditionally, but once they withdraw their love, you'll never find it again. You were clumsy, chaotic, irrational, so bad, you deserve to be left. But Pisces stayed, not because they didn't see where you went wrong, but because they chose to look beyond it. They accepted the darkest parts of you without demanding you strip them away right then and there. They didn't require you to be fixed before being worthy of love. They loved you while you were still learning, not to destroy everything. They accepted you before you even knew how to treat yourself kindly. I once witnessed a young man, unemployed, lost, nearly invisible to the world, except to one person, his Pisces girlfriend. She didn't need him to be successful. She didn't need him to be strong. She only needed him to admit his own fears. But eventually he got tired, he got irritable. He began to treat her patience as something automatic. He started using her as a dumping ground for his negativity without ever considering her limits. Until one day she quietly pulled her heart back. No blame, no anger, just no longer in love. And from that moment on, no one ever loved him the way she once did. Every relationship that followed came with conditions, with standards, with boundaries. He began to understand non-judgmental love is so rare that when you lose it, you never truly get it back again. Pisces doesn't love to control you. They love as if to say, even if you're not perfect, I still believe you deserve love. But if you mistake that kind of grace for something guaranteed, you will lose them. And no one else in this world will ever forgive you the way they did. That's reason number 5. You may find people who love you when you're successful, but the one who loved you when you were at your most chaotic is the one you should never have let go. Reason number 6. They don't force you to change, but they make you never want to hurt them again. Pisces doesn't make rules. They don't set deadlines. They don't say, if you keep doing this, I'll leave. They don't pressure you, don't control you, don't try to fix you. And precisely because of that, you want to change on your own. You want to be better, to grow up, to become worthy of the gentleness they gave you. And that is the strangest thing. They don't teach you anything through theory. They don't lecture you. They just live as they are, kind, profound, fragile, yet quietly powerful. And that presence alone makes you afraid to ever do wrong again. One man once said, I once cheated on a Pisces. She didn't cry, she didn't scream or throw my phone. She just looked at me once and said, "I think you're tired. I don't want to become a burden." The next day she left. No turning back, no messages, no waiting for him to regret. And what hurt him most wasn't being left. It was the calm in her goodbye, a calm so piercing he could no longer look himself in the mirror. Pisces doesn't make you feel guilty. They make you feel like you've just damaged something more beautiful than anything you've ever touched in this life. And from that moment on, you're no longer the same person. That's reason number 6. They don't ask you to change. They simply make you never want to become the kind of person who once hurt someone like them. Reason number 7. They don't cut you off with anger, but with a silence that forces you to face yourself. Not everyone can handle the silence of a Pisces, not because it's cold, but because it's clear. So clear that you see yourself in it. Bare, fractured, with no place left to shift the blame. Pisces doesn't raise their voice. They don't bring out evidence. They don't list everything you did. They just stop speaking. And strangely, that's the very moment you begin to fall apart. I once heard someone speak of his breakup with his Pisces girlfriend. She didn't yell at me, didn't call me names. She just looked at me for a long time, then turned away. No anger, no resentment, but that silence. It drove me insane. After that day, he couldn't sleep well, couldn't enjoy hanging out with friends, couldn't feel confident in front of a mirror, because every time he was silent, he could hear her silence echoing inside him, filled with all the things left unforgiven. Pisces doesn't need to accuse you. They simply withdraw the light that once illuminated the best part of you, and you are left to live in the darkness that remains, a place where there's no one else to blame because the only person who ever truly saw you has quietly walked away. That's reason number 7. They don't hurt you with anger. They hurt you because you are forced to face the person you became after losing them. Reason 8. They love without conditions, but they withdraw that love without negotiation. When they love you, you don't have to earn it. No need to prove yourself. No need to strive to be perfect. They embrace all your mess, all your past, all the things you're still hiding. They love you, even before you believe you're worthy of love. But there's one thing you should never mistake. Pisces love is not an infinite resource. It doesn't regenerate after you've drained it with neglect. It doesn't return when you call its name too late. It doesn't bargain when you finally realize what you lack. When Pisces withdraws their love, they don't issue a final warning. They don't give one more chance. They just disappear, as if they were never there for that long in the first place. A man once confessed, "I thought she'd come back. She always forgave me, but that time she didn't reply. She didn't block me. She didn't unfriend me. She just vanished. And I knew there won't be a next time." He waited. He apologized. He wrote a 3-page email, but nothing happened because Pisces had withdrawn her love, not out of anger, but because she knew if she stayed any longer, she would no longer be herself. Their love may be unconditional, but it has limits, and those limits are never announced. They're only felt when you've already crossed the line, and when they pull back their love, they don't take half their heart. They take it all. Once, for good. That's reason of 8. They may love you even when you're not your best, but if loving you means they have to shrink themselves just to keep going, they'll choose to love themselves first, and that is something no one gets to negotiate. In the end, the deepest regret doesn't come from hurting a Pisces, but from realizing too late that no one will ever love you the way they did. In a world full of conditions and expectations, being accepted by someone while you're still falling apart is the kind of gift that never repeats itself. And once that gift is gone, no one teaches you how to live without it. Pisces leave quietly, but the echo they leave behind is never truly silent. It lingers in every relationship that follows. When you find yourself unable to trust, unable to open up because you've lost the one person who saw your soul and stayed anyway. So maybe the lesson isn't how to love a Pisces, but rather, don't wait until they're gone to realize how deeply you were loved. If you've ever crossed paths with a Pisces, don't forget. If you're with one now, don't take them for granted. If you've lost them, let it be the lesson that reshapes every love that comes after. Leave a comment if something in this video spoke to you. And don't forget to subscribe for more soul-stirring content just like this.